Alright, now for something completely different that I've never done on my channel before. So, today I actually just wanted to talk about wire wrapping tips. So I make wire wraps. Making things like this right now, which are super duper fun. Kind of simple as far as the really complex wraps go, but I get a lot of joy from this, and it's a really good creative outlet for me. And I know a lot of people are really interested in wire wrapping, and it's kind of hard to get into it. Because just for expense reasons and things like that, but it's a great thing to start doing just to make gifts for your friends. And it brought a lot of crystal healing joy into my life when I started using crystals to wrap. So over time, I've got a lot of little tips. I'm going to share 3 tips with you today that can make, if you're just starting wire wrapping and doing some single strand wraps, a couple tips that can just make your wire wrapping way better really quickly. So yeah, so I've made a lot. I used to just make single strand stuff all the time, and I got really good at it. So I would make things like this. You know, see those that just have the one strand, there's not any weaving. The top is this little kind of classic bale that's just this one circle. And then, you know, you can kind of, once you kind of get that style down, you can really riff off of that and flow with whatever thing it is you're wrapping. So here I added a little button into the shell, and you know, like there's holes in it, so I can kind of like, figure out what angles will really work, and you start to be able to be really creative with a really simple wrap style. So first I just want to talk about choosing your stone really quick. Choosing your stone is really going to be really important for the success of your wrap, or whatever you're wrapping, you know, shell or glass or anything like that. You're going to want something that has corners, something that has like divots, or something that's like a good shape to wrap. So see, like I'm gonna wrap this agate, and it's got kind of this weird shape, but I know that's gonna make it. There's gonna be lots of places where the wire can sit. So if you're trying to wrap something like this stone, this is lavender quartz, which is just beautiful, but it's a spherical shape here, so it's gonna be really hard to wrap because just like the shape of it. Also, quartz points are really hard to wrap this way unless they've got like this. There's a really great wrapping style where you can, where you use 2 strands and you kind of wrap them around each other and then wrap them around each other. And that one's pretty cool, but there's not a lot of creativity in that one, but it is easier to wrap things like points or spheres and things like that. But I like this kind of wrapping style, which just uses 1 strand of wire, because it's really simple, but you can also be really creative with it and then start to flow with whatever object it is you're wrapping and get a lot of variation in the things that you're doing. So first, I don't know, take a longish piece of wire. You'll start to kind of judge how much is a good amount over time, but like I never measure what I'm doing. I just kind of guess it, and then whatever wire I have left, that's how much is meant to be on the piece. So let's see. I'm gonna choose. I kind of just judge it with the rock, and I know I'm gonna want to wrap it around a few times. So I don't know, how long is that? This is from about my pointer finger to my what is that? My elbow armpit. Kind of longish for a stone about this size. You'll start to just kind of judge how long you need it. Don't worry about it too much. Go extra long if it's your first time and you're kind of worried about it. Go longer than you think you should. Also, I'm wrapping with, this is 20 gauge wire. I really like 20 gauge because it's solid, but it's not like really, really thick. So it's kind of the perfect density of wire. Sweet. I'm putting that away. All right. So when I first start, the bale is what I start with. That's my first trick. Start with making the bale. The bale is what hangs this little circle, the circle-y part. Yeah, there you can see it. Sorry, I don't have any fancy camera set up. I'm just on my laptop. So yeah, that thing. So my first 2 tricks have to do with the bale. First trick is make the bale first. A lot of people just try to start wrapping it, and then they have nowhere to anchor their wraps. So start with the bale. Sometimes I make the bale right at the top, but sometimes I make it in the middle. I've noticed making it in the middle gives me more more options of like crossing and stuff like that, but sometimes making it at the end gives me a lot more length to kind of go around to the top and then go around like that or something like that, and you can get more angles. So I'm gonna give myself like maybe 3 inches on this side, but more of it on this side. I like having one longer piece because then I have a little more stability and I can wrap it around somewhere a couple times. So I'd recommend having, if you're first starting this, maybe a couple inches out one side and like more of it on the other side, so you can kind of see what I'm doing. So then take your pliers and use round pliers, and you want to wrap and make a little circle. So you wrap your wire around like that, so you have it kind of crossing that way. So once you've made that little shape, just by wrapping it around the pliers once, then you have this. So then you want to go to the longer strand, and you put your pliers on the longer strand right above where it crosses. And so what you're going to do is you're just going to kink the wire. And what that's going to do is give you this angle. And so once you have it at this angle, see that wire has a little kink in it? Then that little kink is going to make your bail look so much better. So once you have that kink, then you take your pliers and you put them this way. And then you can take this piece of wire and wrap it around right underneath that kinked part. And you kind of have to pull tightly as you wrap and pull against your pliers. And so see, now I'm wrapping it right underneath that part where I kinked it. And that kink makes this look like a perfect little circle, and it just looks super classy. So I wrap it like once or twice. Don't wrap it too many times because you're going to come back up and wrap it a couple more times. So wrap it maybe twice. 3 times is the most you're going to want to wrap it right now because you're going to come back up to it. So now I have this perfect little beautiful bail. So tip number 1, make the bail first. Tip number 2, make that little kinky motion right underneath your circle, because that's going to make this just a beautiful tight little circle. So now you take your stone and you kind of decide, all right, which side do I want to be the top? So I'm going to look at this and kind of decide aesthetically pleasingly kind of where I want the front to be. Wow, this is really cool agate. Which way is the front? This has got a little sparkle in it, but kind of I like this, but maybe I'll just kind of make it double-sided. So then what I do is I kind of flatten it out like that, since it's got a flat top, kind of give me a place to start. And then you kind of place that at the top of wherever you want the top to be. And then you just kind of push it around the stone. You're like, all right, this is where this needs to go to support it. All right, I'm gonna make one loop all the way around the bottom to give me a good, make sure it doesn't fall out the bottom. You're gonna wanna get it to cross around the bottom and around the outside. So you want it to make sure you have a vertical wrap and a horizontal wrap, so it won't fall out either side. Sweet, so now that I've wrapped it around the bottom, I'm gonna wrap it around the bail again. So now I've got this cool little thing, and this comes right off, but it's the right shape of my rock. I'm like, all right, where was that? Where was that? I'm gonna put it right back. What? See, now I fucked it up. There we go. I found where I put it again. Ha 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 ha, I got you. St. Patrick's Day, I can hear the people outside playing bagpipes. Sweet, so then you kind of just wrap it around. This is where the creativity comes in. You can kind of just find the places where it is gonna both look the best and then keep it stable. Ooh, this one I might just go around the bottom a couple times. Sometimes I like to, you know, just kind of, this is where you can get creative, wrap around wherever feels good, to start to experiment, and you'll start to kind of get, and it really depends on the shape of the rock that you're using too. But you know, don't be afraid to do something weird, experiment, make something ugly. You're probably gonna waste wire at the beginning, and it's fine. It's all in the name of art. Sweet. So I kind of made this little wrap here pretty fast, but I'm pretty happy with it. So it ends up looking like that. I ended up not doing one side around the outside, even though I said you should. Usually I want to. But this one just ended up looking better with them all going one direction. Oh. So, see, as I was wrapping it, I brought that same wire back up to the top and wrapped it around there. And just use your best judgment and wrap it wherever it needs to go. Sweet. Now I have this one piece of wire sticking off the top. And sometimes I make that into like a little swirl and I tuck it down in the front, or you can do a lot with this piece of wire that just for aesthetic reasons. But I think for this one, I'm just going to kind of wrap it around the top of the bail underneath to kind of make one top coating of wire that makes it look really clean. All right, sweet. So see, now it looks a lot cleaner with that wire wrapped around the top. So then my last trick isn't really mine. I took it from my mom, and because she also did a lot of wire wrapping when I was a kid, and like everything else, every other craft you could possibly imagine. All right. So I was just tucking the end of my wire in there. I like to like curl around the end a little bit, like into a circle, and then tuck it in the top so that it doesn't poke out and you can't really see the end if you kind of curl the top over. Also, I like to file the ends sometimes. That can be really nice. So see, now I have this thing, and a lot of the times people will get to this point and it's still kind of unstable and some of the wires are loose. And this is a way you can both make the wire wrap tighter and make it look really, really cool. So this is kinking the wire like this. You make little crosses in it. So here's my little wire wrap. I'm going to take my pliers and let's see. I kind of want all these going the same direction because I think it'll look really awesome. You have to kind of make sure the way that you kink it that it's not going to pull it worse. So you kind of got to judge, okay, which direction does this need to be pulled? Do I tweak it to the right or tweak it to the left to make it more stable? So you can kind of, that just makes the wire shorter, and you can also really do a lot visually with this. See, if I have two that are next to each other that are both going the same direction, it looks pretty sweet. Sweet. So this ended up looking really freaking cool. There we go. So comment if this helped you. Comment if you made something. Comment if you love wire wrapping. Whatever. It's all great. Much love to you. I hope this helped somebody. Mwah!